If you're sitting in a lecture for an hour, you get one chance to get it. You're probably not going to feel comfortable asking a question, and versus say 5 or 6 minute videos over the same content where you can pause it, you can rewind it.
To help their kids move from lower grades to higher grades, maybe even a 3 to 5 on the AP exam, or improve their mathematical knowledge in a college course.
AI changing education in a dramatic way. I think every student's probably going to be able to have their own AI tutor. I don't try to avoid AI, even though I know it can lead to cheating.
I'm just bad at math. How do you respond to a student that just says, listen, I'm just not a math person?
Finding something they have grit and determination to accomplish. If they can have that same mindset for that topic, then they can do it for mathematics as well. We jump right into the procedures and the competencies. It's dry. They don't see the meaning of it.
Welcome back to the Supported Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Sebastian. I am joined by a veteran mathematics instructor at Phoenix College and the creator of Math is Power for You. With a master's in mathematics education and decades of classroom experience, he has developed a comprehensive library of now over 9,500 instructional videos. His work is the cornerstone of the open education resource, OER movement, widely integrated into textbooks and platforms like Lumen Learning. He's a lead content developer dedicated to the philosophy of free, universal access to high-quality STEM education. My guest today is none other than James Sousa. James, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So just chatting before we started recording, sending you in close to retirement, huh? How long have you been in education?
This will be my 30th.
Congratulations, and thank you for your years of service in the education field.
Thank you.
So how does an educator, a math teacher, go on to make close to 10,000 instructional videos?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of time alone in a room making math videos. But really, I would say it's all started because after I spent a year teaching in a junior high or middle school, 5 years teaching high school. And then when I got my master's, I decided to move over to the community college mathematics. And, in college, students have to buy their own textbooks. And I learned that, students were getting a late start because they couldn't buy the book until the second week of school, the third week even sometimes, and they're already behind. I wanted students to be able to have all of their course materials on day one and ready to learn. And so there were quite a few OER textbooks available. And then one man, David Littman, wrote this free online homework system. And then what was missing were the video components of the course material. So I started roughly 16, 17 years ago, started making math videos to kind of support the OER movement and help kind of complete these OER courses so they had all the resources that students could be successful. And it was all available on day one. So every student had what they needed to be successful as far as the curriculum and the materials. And so there was no real excuse for not being able to have the textbook or any of the learning tools on day one. So that's what got me started.
Do you see that as a barrier to this, to a STEM degree, is these multi-$100 textbooks?
Yes, definitely. And that's what the publishers were offering. They were offering, a textbook, online homework with video support. And so the OER movement had to match that to not to compete, but also offer something different and maybe better.
You're the master of the mini lesson. So why is a 6-minute targeted video often more effective than a 60-minute classroom lecture?
Well, I always like to think that the videos allow students to customize their instruction. If you're sitting in a lecture for an hour, you get one chance to get it. You're probably not going to feel comfortable asking a question, and versus say 5 or 6 minute videos over the same content where you can pause it, you can rewind it, you can fast forward if you already know the content. So it really allows students to customize the instruction to their needs.
For the parents listening out there, how can they use your library as a digital tutoring system to help their kids move from lower grades to higher grades, maybe even a 3 to 5 on the AP exam, or improve their mathematical knowledge in a college course?
Sure. Well, there's quite a few options. I mean, on YouTube, I do have playlists. I do have the website, mathispowerforyou.com, that's organized by course, and a long list of videos in sequence. But also, as I mentioned, the OER homework system developed by David Littman, now called My Open Math. They have free self-study courses. My district, Maricopa Community College District, has their own installation of the same programs. It's an OER online homework system. And we also have self-study courses. So anybody, anywhere can access those. And the videos that I make extra is kind of two types. The mini lessons, like you mentioned, the 6 to 8 minute videos that are like teaching the topics from the beginning. But then when they're in this online homework system and they're doing their homework, pretty much every single homework question has a link at the bottom of the screen that shows an example very similar to the one they're working on. And those are really the most popular videos because they're very, very fine-tuned to what students need at that moment.
So your work with Lumen Learning and other OER platforms, where do you see the traditional classroom in 5 years?
Well, actually, just recently I started working with Professor.chat, which offers an AI tutoring program with video support. And so that's kind of where I think it's going to go with AI changing education in a dramatic way. I think every student's probably going to be able to have their own AI tutor to hopefully get them from point A to point B in the best way that they can based upon maybe what gaps they might have or what learning deficiencies they might have and kind of bridge those gaps more effectively than just, having one curriculum for everybody in the class and hoping that's going to make everybody successful. And we know at the community college level, success rates can always be improved.
Why is the instructional video now or still the foundational backbone of learning?
Well, I think that may change some with AI, but I think, again, because it allows students to use them in the way that they need. I've had students comment that, they really like that they can pause the video and take their time to learn the concepts. Pair that with AI, where you can actually have a conversation with AI. I mean, I try to tell my students that I don't try to avoid AI, even though I know it can lead to cheating, but it's also an excellent tool because you can have a conversation with AI and it'll help you explain. If you just use it to get answers, that's not going to be a great learning tool. But if you ask questions, why is that the correct number? Or why are those the units in the answer? It'll explain it to you and it'll explain your exact problem. So pairing that with the initial video instruction and the video support, I think it's going to be a great resource for students.
I'm sure you've heard it. I hear it a lot. I'm just bad at math. How do you respond to a student that just says, listen, I'm just not a math person?
Well, I would push them on that. I would ask them, why do you believe that? And then, based upon their response, I would give them more feedback. I mean, today that's kind of an acceptable comment, but I don't like that as an acceptable comment. Maybe they had a bad experience. Maybe they don't have the confidence. There's a whole bunch of reasons why a student can say they're just not good at math. But if they know the value of mathematics, and if you can somehow get over that obstacle and foster curiosity in mathematics, to me, that's a big thing. We focus so much on the competencies of a course. I like to start a lot of my classes with something general interest math concept to just get them interested in why we care about math. We jump right into the procedures and the competencies. It's dry. They don't see the meaning of it. And so I think as an instructor, it's our responsibility to foster that curiosity. And getting back to your question, that's why I think it's important to see why they feel like they're not good at math and ask them, do you think it's important for people to understand mathematics and, see what they say. So we don't like those comments, but we have to get more information to kind of see how to address that.
So but it is a limiting belief. It is a mindset, really.
Yeah.
Can anyone learn math?
Yes, I think so.
So what are we getting wrong about teaching math that leads us to have, because I've heard that more than anything else, probably being in education for about 16 years is I'm just not a math person. Right. What is it that is wrong with how we're currently teaching, and what do you propose we do differently to make everybody a math person?
Yeah. Well, I think it does come back to, as an instructor, developing and promoting curiosity about understanding mathematics and how it relates to the real world. I mean, just understanding how big is a million? And, tell them, if I put 1 million seconds of time on the clock, how long would that be? Okay, if I make $1 million in a year, how much would you make each day? Most students care about money, so I kind of often like to tie into the money concept. It comes out to you'd make $2,700 a day every day for a year to make $1 million in 1 year. And it turns out to be, I think it's 11.6 or 7 days of time. And okay, well, what about a billion? How big is a billion? How big is a trillion? I mean, our deficit's 39 trillion, right?
Right.
I mean, just the other day, we were talking, okay, if we have $39 trillion debt, how much would that be per American? Okay, whatever that is. But of course, not everyone's a taxpayer. You can't have someone that's 1 year old pay the bill. So if you break it down to taxpayers, so we jump online, how many taxpayers are in the US? Mm-hmm. And you break it down into how much, it's like $350,000 every individual taxpayer would have to pay off our national debt. So those kind of things, to me, it gets students interested in mathematics and why they might care about mathematics, even if they're not related to the topic that day.
Where do you see? So you mentioned the AI tutor component. Why do you think that's such a valuable commodity for us as learners going forward?
I think because of the customization right now. I mean, even in the classes I teach in person, you have this set of curriculum, and of course, you have students at all different levels. The curriculum is what it is, and that's why we have not the best success rates at times. And so, if you had AI to kind of diagnose students' deficiencies and provide individual support for those students, it can tie into videos that will support that as well and practice problems. I mean, I'm sure more students will be successful that way, but you have to kind of, as an instructor, you have to let low of that control of every student's grade at every moment in time.
Absolutely. If you're okay, we're going to go to the lightning round. So just a couple rapid fire questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind. Most underrated math concept that every student should master?
Financial math, for sure. That's my favorite class to teach. It's in our liberal arts math class. TVM solver, savings annuity, payout annuities, loans, big deal on loans. Really valuable.
What is the most overrated math concept right now?
Oh, geez. Overrated? Gosh. Overrated. Let me come back to that one.
Okay. How about,
I like it all.
If you can go back and tell your early teaching self one thing, what would it be?
It would be to, and I don't even think of it in terms of always just teaching, but just in general, don't worry about what other people think and do what you think is the most important for your students in the classroom.
How about one piece of advice for a student who says, I'm just not a math person?
Yeah. I would say, okay, so tell me one thing you're good at. And how did you get good at it? And typically they had to work at it step by step and build from the beginnings, and they just develop that skill. But I think a lot of that too is that finding something they have grit and determination to accomplish. If they can have that same mindset for that topic, then they can do it for mathematics as well. And I mean, I try to illustrate that in my own teaching classroom by how I perform and what I do. I mean, for example, I love working out. I'm in the gym every morning at 4 a.m. And I don't always want to go, but you go because it's not about motivation. It's about determination. And right. You're not always going to be motivated. And so I would, again, try to tie it into something that they do care about, and then try to transition that grit and motivation to what they're saying they're not good at and why they might want to reconsider that.
And where can people find the library of all your videos and connect with you?
Yeah, mathispowerforyou.com.
And you're on YouTube and LinkedIn, correct?
Yes, yeah.
All right. I appreciate it. Yeah. James, one question we didn't get to. Well, anything I didn't get to that you wanted to talk about?
I just would say, as an instructor, the OER movement for me has probably been the most rewarding experience of my entire career, because it has allowed me to collaborate not just with the colleagues at my own college, but across my district and across the nation. And it's really a team effort for all these courses that have been developed over time. And it's really been a privilege to be a part of that movement. I mean, I appreciate, you acknowledging my work in the video component of it, but it really is just a piece of the larger picture. And I do look forward to, I know my time teaching is probably limited, but I feel like I have a lot more to give. And I look forward to trying to move my content to a higher level or mainstream in different formats, because I feel like it does have value. I've never really focused on the flashy thumb tag or thumbnails or promoting my content, but I look forward to continuing helping students be successful in mathematics.
Appreciate that. James, thank you so much for coming on the Supported Learning podcast.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. And we'll catch you all next time. Thanks for joining.
All right, take care.